I'm saying what I've experienced. They do collect. But we'll discuss that more.
Where was that?
1F is in Frank.
Okay, Mr. Mars Graves.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, sir. Here's your, if you all can just hold them. So we officially open the meeting, and I'll give everybody, Mr. Potts, Mr. Marsgroves. I have Mr. Wydell's. I have Ms. Thomas, Ms. Castillo, Maxton's, and Dr. Carroll. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna open up the meeting. I really do like to start on time. I understand if you are a little late, but, and I'm following the agenda. So I'm going to call the, March 12th, 2025. Let me start recording. Take it off pause. So I'm gonna call the March 12th, 2025 Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board meeting to order. And it is 3:01. I'm gonna take roll call. So, Mr. Marsgroves,
Here.
is it Graves or
Grave.
Grave? No
Musgrave.
S?
That's right.
Musgraves, okay. Ms. Costello,
Here.
Mr. Wydell, Ms. Thomas, Ms. Maxton,
Here.
Ms. Dr. Carroll,
Present.
Mr. Potts.
Yes, here.
Danny's supposed to be coming, and I'm here. So we do have enough. We have a quorum. You have to have 5 in order to proceed, so we're going to proceed. When they come in, then we'll go from there. So the first thing I would like to do, if everyone could please stand so I can give you your oath of office. If you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. You can say your name. I
Raymond
I,
Carroll.
Wendy Castillo,
do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear
or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States.
I will support, protect,
Protect and
defend the Constitution of the government of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the
State of Florida,
and the charter of the city of Clewiston,
Charter of the City of Clewiston,
that I am duly qualified
that I am
duly qualified
to hold office,
to hold office
okay, under the Constitution
under
the
the Constitution
Constitution
of the state of Florida
under the
State of Florida
and the Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board.
and the Community Redevelopment Advisory Board.
And I will well
I
I will well
and faithfully perform
faithfully perform
the duties of committee member
duties of committee member
on which I am now about to enter.
of
which I am now about to enter.
Thank you. If you could please sign your gold seal ones and your other ones and give me the one without the seal. You take the gold seal one home for your records.
Well, appreciate you guys joining.
Yes.
We're working with you guys. Kind of excited to have some fun. Basically calling about
Nice.
busy.
Good deal.
Sign the gold one or the?
You get the
gold,
gold.
yeah.
You get to bring
Let me
that
sign
home.
that
No, I need that one.
You keep the gold, I take
Keep the
the,
gold.
yeah. These are for the record.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first order of business today, committee, we need to appoint a chair and a vice chair. So you can discuss amongst yourself, someone can make a motion, someone can second it, and then we'll proceed. We'll take a vote.
Volunteers.
Wendy, will you be chairman in charge? I nominate Wendy.
Okay.
Second.
That? Yes.
Okay. So for chair was Wendy.
Like to be vice?
I
Yeah.
think Kirsten probably.
Kirsten
should be.
begin.
The secretary type thing,
Is that what Vice does, like the writing part? Yeah, okay, I can help, okay.
So, Dr. Carroll made the motion,
Yeah, second it.
and the second was by Mr. Potts? Okay. And for your vice chair, Kristen? She was nominated by, Wendy,
Yes.
and second by, wasn't it Pitts?
Mr. Musgrove.
Oh, Ms. Musgroves, okay.
Musgrave.
Musgrave, I'm sorry. I do a lot of things,
I'm
but
up with that, but
names is
there it
a
is.
bit much. Okay, so we have that out the way. So our first discussion, we have a lot of work. We have a lot of work to catch up on, and we have a lot of work to do. So I really want to discuss with you, how do you want to meet? What day you want to meet and what time? Preferably mornings or afternoons, because I do have counsel that I sit as their clerk, and also the golf. So I try to take that in consideration. Excuse me. So if you all can decide amongst yourselves what day is good for you, Mondays, not so hot,
Not me
but
either.
no one wants to do anything on a Friday. So we're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
A Wednesday would be good for me. I
Wednesday
mean, I
works
wanna-
Wednesday's
for
good
me,
for me.
yeah.
Wednesday,
Afternoon.
Okay. What time on Wednesdays?
Afternoon?
Afternoon.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Meeting times. And date. So we're looking at Wednesdays at 3 or 4.
3's good.
Yeah.
3, okay. Alrighty.
And would this be every Wednesday?
It's not every Wednesday, it's really up to you. I do believe, because we have a lot of work, like, when we get into discussion about the applications, we are having people ask about applications, the facade applications, the plant. I think we need to look at them and see if there are some changes, because the facade, application has not changed since 2008. So what I've been doing, is actually going out on websites and looking at different CRAs who have done a lot and do a lot. I've gotten a lot of information from Delray Beach. Their CRA is a thriving one. The city of Dunedin has a thriving CRA. So I kind of been looking at them, see how their application looks, see what requirements they have, kind of trying to follow in their footsteps. So we have a lot that we're trying to get done. We are having people come and ask for applications. We also need to discuss a color palette. So there are things, if we follow this agenda today, that I really want to discuss, and we can get some kind of hard dates. For right now, if I think we should meet, hello?
Hey, I'm just checking in to make sure everything's okay.
I would say every 3 weeks. That gives us time to kind of go back, study something. You can send your ideas with me, and that'll give me time to kind of collect them, so I can have something for our agenda the next time we talk. So I really do believe, to get things done to where it's visual and we're moving ahead, I'll say meet about every 3 weeks.
I just have one conflict. The
Okay.
third Wednesday of every month, I'm in Stewart, so that's the only conflict
Okay,
I would have.
so-
As long as it didn't fall on the third Wednesday, I'm
Okay.
good.
No third Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But, okay, no third Wednesdays. All right. We can make that happen. And I'm okay with that, because the third week is usually busy because of, city commission falls on the third Monday. So, well, how about if we just meet on the second Wednesday at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, that
I'm
works
good
for
with
me.
that.
yeah.
Okay. Second Wednesdays and we'll do monthly.
That works.
And that gives us time to kind of get work and actually have some finished products. We can leave every month with a homework assignment.
You remind us anyway.
I will remind you. So does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. I also want you all, if you can go look, to really kind of familiarize yourself. What is a CRA? Why do we have it? We do have an older plan, again, and I will send, it's just a lot been going on, so I apologize, but I will send what the town originally has. I think it was incorporated in 2004, and I think they did an updated in 2010. So I can send you all those ordinances, so you can kind of just read and review and to know what is our purpose here and where we're trying to go. I think that would be send ordinance 4. Okay, so our first thing is coming down 27. We have, I don't know if you all heard a few weeks ago, the board, the CRA board, which consists of the commission, we allowed it $300,000 to in a matching project for water. Correct, Danny? The water to match for a water grant. So with that being said, I'd say we have about maybe 1 million left. But I want you all to know there is a House bill on the floor to eliminate CRAs. But we not start them. And if you have one started, you can't get funds and you only can spend what you have. And it runs out in 2045. So if your charter says 2045, that's the end of it. There is opposition, and every city who has one do have their lobbyists and all that fighting for it, but you can always go out on the state website, and it is Senate Bill 1242 if you want more information about it. So hopefully it doesn't pass. And if it passed, we gotta quickly move. So we're just gonna go that it's not gonna pass, and we're gonna keep moving as if everything is okay. So with the 27 corridor, we realize that a lot of people is coming through the city of Clewiston. And so that is considered one of the blight areas. So we were like, what do we want our city to look like when people come in? And so right here, that 27 corridor. So we thought about a color palette. What colors do we want the buildings to look like? As you know, we have a variety of colors right now.
Yeah.
We have very muted colors, and then we have very bright and bold colors. And so we're really trying to get on a level. So that's one thing we have to discuss, and we have to agree as a group. I may want bright orange and greens, and y'all like, nah, Lakeisha, that's not. So majority vote is going to always win. So I think the first thing we need to do is think of color palettes. So by the time our next meeting come, we can have, are we gonna stay in well, we know the logo and the city colors. One of the things that I've tried to do even with the city is start branding us. So as you can start seeing when you see us put announcements out on Facebook or our social medias, you always see yellows or you see greens or you see blacks and white, because that's what our logo. So that's our branding. So when you receive a letter from the city of Clewiston, you see that little wavy green or that wavy yellow, you know, oh, this is official and it comes from the city of Clewiston. So just like we're branding the city, we also want to brand our city, the physical part of it. So that's what we're thinking about. Also, just throw it out there, we've been having issues with trash all over the place, and the CRA is allowed to hire. So we're thinking about hiring a service maintenance worker that will be his primary job, is to literally go around cleaning up the trash and the plazas, and we're doing things to contact landlords in regards to trash and debris on their properties. So we are moving certain things in the background, but I just want to keep you all abreast of that. So I'm just going to say what I need to say, and if you all have questions or suggestions, we'll go into that. But again, as we need to create incentives and applications for the following. We need to come up with a site plan, paint up, and signage program. You know, maybe somebody needs to paint their building. We need to, what's the qualification for you painting your building? How much are we going to give towards you painting your building? And if you paint your building, are you willing to, again, be in that color palette? Everybody that puts in an application doesn't mean they're gonna get approved. So we gotta figure out that whole process. So we, like I said, we really do have a lot of work to do. The site development assistance program, that's if someone says, hey, I really wanna have this business, but I need an incentive to start up. They may need $5,000 of startup costs. Are we gonna have that type of program? Because there's different programs throughout the CRAs. The other one is the facade. That's our facade, and that's just to help paint your frontage of your building. Are we gonna give you help to do that, and if so, how much? And then murals. If you do put a mural on the side of your building, is there a criteria we want to use? Does it have to have a theme? Does it have to have colors? Because I saw a real pretty one, but it was, I kind of think where I was, but it was an African-American woman owned it. So on the side, she had an African-American woman that had like an afro, but it was just like flowers and plants that was coming out, but it matched where she was at. So people get creative with murals, so we got to decide what do we want and how do we want that, and does it fit in our town? So that's something. And then demolition. Are we going to help people demolish a building that's an eyesore for them to pick something else up or put a new business there to help? So those are the 5 things that we need to come up with, how we want that application to look, what's the criteria for those things. And once we get that, then we can put it out there and start accepting, because we are getting a lot of people asking about it. And I'm like, hey, we redoing it. As soon as it's done and it's live, you all can come in. The color palette.
Exciting that people are actually interested.
Yeah. And what projects does the CRA want to start with and on? So those were, now we can discuss those, how we want to move. We picked people because you all have different talents. Everybody has a different talent. So we're really asking that you bring your talent here, your construction eye, your finance eye, whatever eye or talent you have, we're asking that you bring it here so that we can really have a wonderful and great CRA in our new beginnings. So it's open for discussion.
Why don't we go with color palette? I'd like to,
Okay.
and I'd like to start out with saying I've probably got a couple of colors I would not like to see,
So the color palette.
namely black and purple.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, nuts.
That's not a moving forward, I guess, but
Black.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah,
taking something out, which is good.
Purple. Okay, so no black and no purple.
Sometimes you can use black because it's very elegantly done in the downtowns. Like I have a sample of it in my book. So it just depends on how you apply it.
I think
Yeah.
You can see
accents
that's
would
the
be,
nicest places of
I was
Boca
thinking an
Raton or
entire
Manhattan.
building.
Yes,
No,
like maybe just on the facade. Like,
Right.
so
accents,
Yeah.
yeah, like
statement walls.
I
Yeah, 'cause my roof's black.
Yeah, statement pieces.
Well, you gotta change it.
Yeah, yeah.
accent parts. You're right, but not the entire thing.
Yeah, I
correct.
like black myself.
Unless it's really tiny, you know what I mean? Because sometimes if it's a really small boutique or frontage, it looks adorable. Okay. So, like, I collected just 2025 paint used for cityscapes and commercial buildings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was collecting things that look a lot like this is the L&J one, like that. Like L&J did a great job.
Yeah.
You have to say. And around our city, have you noticed the painting has already begun? Even without us, they just started revitalizing. I know some of them are misdirected and picking the wrong colors.
Right.
It can happen to anybody, and that's what we're trying to help them out with. If they like gray, for example, we'll pick you an elegant gray. That way you don't have to have mystery gray on the wall. And sometimes if you put up a gray, sometimes it turns out green or it turns out blue, or you just have unexpected results even though you had good intentions. Okay. So like I have a book here, like just 2025 palette, and some of the buildings in our area did have nice success with it. I mean, Dr. Kaki's building looks nice, blue, white. There's a community health center that did the same thing. It looks nice. It looks modern, edgy. The Lions Warehouse painted itself gray. So it went from that old-fashioned beige color to a nice gray. Okay. So there are things, and there's another picture of like a gym that can be done in blue and white. So there's a basic color palette that we can work on. We just need the design person to help guide us to what looks good on exteriors. Because somebody like me, I don't know. Like, I can see it in the picture, but I cannot pick it on the spot. I don't have the experience. But Stephanie, who's not here right now, that's what she does. She's a designer. Okay, so if we, come up with, like you said, a list of the colors you do desire, then maybe someone, she could help guide to which brown is it, or which off-white is it, or which gray, or which.
But we don't wanna get bogged down with that either, by waiting on the
No.
designer. We wanna hit the ground running if we can.
Yeah, and is there gonna be any breaking up into strengths and stuff? Because there's a lot, like, there's also infrastructure that I believe that we're gonna be covering, like you first said, with the water and the pipeline, and I'm not really having a lot of background in that, but half
That
the table
part-
does.
That part of it, we are going to lead to our city utilities department under, Danny and Lynn can kind of guide that to
Yeah.
let us know what, we should and should not do in that area, because once they pick the contractor to do the work, we really have nothing to do with it.
Right.
And as far as what we're really gonna have to learn how to do is work together as a group of 7. And I understand that sometimes, because everybody's strength is gonna come out in every topic. So the first thing, like you said, the color palette. Do we want color palettes in the shades of blues and ivories? Okay? Or do we want the color palette? Because, prime example, black can go all the way from dark black to white.
Yeah.
That palette, that shade palette can go all the way there. So if you say, hey, we want our color palette to be white, black, and green, and yellow. Yellow can go from a dark yellow all the way to a white.
Yeah, you got extreme colors. and
You
then
have
got
extreme colors.
soft
So
colors.
what we're trying to do is if we pick the color palette for the darkest color, this is the palette, it can always go lighter. Because you can have a very dark, let's say green, but very light yellow to almost pale, and you can match them. So again, Stephanie's eye would come in because she has the designer part of it.
And she has the tools, like she could present it to you and then just flip through the spectrum.
But
I
as
think
a
about.
core, we got to give her something to present,
Yeah.
which
like-
we all agree on.
What I'm thinking about is, I would like to have the common grounds, labor finders common ground. It's on 27, but it comes down Bond Street. And I don't want to see it black, or I don't, the gray that's on there now, needs some work. And yeah, I'm not
Yeah, we need to
ruling
freshen
out
it up.
anything, but I would like to do something that's appealing. I don't see yellow in that at all, but there
Hey,
again,
I'm just
know.
throwing out.
no, I'm just saying, right.
And that's why you have to look at it as a group of buildings, because there are 6 buildings that are right next to each other. So it's not all about what this one should specifically be. It's you gotta have the bird's eye view, or else they're gonna
They have to be
clash.
related,
You have to plan it.
put it that
out.
way.
What do you think about the colors from where Tracy has her office now, down toward the dentist there on
Did you make a
27?
copy for everybody with
No,
that?
no, I just have, I've listened to conversations, and everybody always gravitates back to the same areas of town. So I just try to make a picture file of what, so that people can see what they're talking about. So, closest to the dentist office, you said, the business is, you said Tracy?
You know,
What's,
Equip, yeah, from there and
Happy Health?
on 27
Yeah.
down toward where the ice plant is.
Yep. Yeah, there's
They're,
6 facades.
they've just redone that, haven't they? Not
There's
that far.
6 facades right there, and they all need help, I think, because they're all, like you said, that the coffee shop is too drab. It needs to really
course.
pop out. It really needs, because that is like our center of town. That's where we have coffee. So we need to not just help with the color, but the architectural accents. I mean,
Well-
anything that's on a corner like that, it needs to pop.
And I'd like to think there's a flat awning there, that needs to be replaced. Do you put the, and maybe it's structural a lot, if you put the slanted ones or the canvas ones looking, or, how you do
Exactly.
it?
And just like you guys set the utility work out to the utility department, we just say to the design group, whoever it is, this is what we want. We want it to pop on the corner, and we want all those buildings next to it to flow together and be strong.
Let me ask one other question. Where's the infrastructure gonna be? Along 27 or back on Ventura? Where's it gonna be?
Sagamore, it's MCM.
Okay,
They've started the construction.
wait, Sagamore's,
That's Pasadena. That's
Pasadena, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sagamore's here.
I was gonna say, that's on the north side of town, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to take pictures of that. That way, next time we talk about it, you guys can see.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't paint a building and then they come through and do some infrastructure that's gonna damage or,
I think one thing we have to look at, and I'm looking at it from an outsider, because I don't live here, so I don't see the landscape.
where do
the
you
way
live?
I live in Wellington. So I don't see the landscape as you all see it. But as a visitor coming in, you want stuff I'm very visual. I mean, I do everything by visual. You please my eyes, and I might do it because that's just who I am.
that's human nature.
So when I come in every day to work, like today, I see a
Sign.
tractor place, and it has a homemade sign out there that says truck parking here. That's the first thing that draws your eye, is unappealing. So it's like, well, how do you improve that? Because that's on the main corridor. Even if they got a beautiful fence, a barrier, to just block it off, it becomes more appealing. We don't care that you have the tractor there, but I don't want to see it when I first come in. So that's what you have to think about. You're in the middle, and you're the only place, unless you go to 75, and I promise you people ain't trying to drive 75, but I got to come through you to get to the Gulf of Mexico, and then I got to come through you to get to the Atlantic Ocean. So people are always through here. And you got to beautify the eye for me to stop. I told Danny even in my interview, I've always was curious of what was on both the back end or the front end of 27, because I've always driven through it. But there's nothing here to make you stop.
It's funny what we see too. I always see that the old Martinez tire place. That's the first thing I see.
Yeah.
The west side of town, the east side of town, it needs a lot to.
Yeah,
a work,
so
a lot of
when
work.
people are traveling through, you gotta say, you trying to grab them, okay, what boom, that's beautiful. Let me get out and explore that. And there are really some cities that you go through just because you see it, you're like, oh, let me stop. Even if it's the way the McDonald's look. And you, as a city, can have, through planning and zoning, where you have, this is what we want Clewiston to look like, till people can start designing buildings from the facade in which you, and I can't think of the name of it. It's a branding, like prime example, when you go to Loxahatchee. On that corridor, it looks more like everything looks like a barn. The Publix is different. They have a siding to make it look almost like a barn because Loxahatchee is like, hey, we're agriculture. It's a theme.
They
So
popped it out and
even when you
blended it.
go to Jupiter down Indian Town, when I worked for the town of Jupiter, everything down on Indian Town Road was pastel colors. And it had to sit back because they didn't want this off the road. So you can make, you can brand your city to look like you wanted to see. So
Coordinated.
that's what we're trying to do. We're really trying to bring people in, and when they get here, they want to stay and they want to spend money. And to do that, it has to be visually appealing to the eye.
There's a lot of empty buildings and parking lots and stuff here that have been that way for 15, 20 years plus that I would like to see. I mean, I'm sure you just can't make people do stuff or whatever, but those buildings and stuff being put to good use, or, you know, allowing somebody to maybe open up a business in them or something like that would be nice instead of just sitting empty.
And that's what the CRA is for. So if we can help, I don't think you have to build new stuff all the time. I'm not really into building everything. I feel like some things can be remodeled. Some things can be redone. These buildings, they held up through a lot of years, so there's some good to it. So how do you refurbish it? Like you say, it's some buildings that you can go in there, we can help and say, hey, we have, you know, 5,000 towards this. If you make it a bakery, you know,
What do
these
we
are the
do,
colors.
like, if Domino's has that stretch on 27, do we have any say in what they do with theirs? Or could it be like that house over that was behind Walmart that was blue and yellow and red and,
We got a new owner now. They're building a new building.
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the
Do we
mall,
have any
yeah.
effect on,
Yeah, we've looked at it. We have what we call a,
good,
look at and tell them.
good,
Pizza store.
color wise too?
Yeah, and then they'll have business store,
Where's it gonna be at?
where the old
611.
Robinson Pool.
Robinson
Okay.
Pools.
Good, good.
And
so
yeah,
that'll
you can have an
demolish.
input. You can have an input in that type
I
of.
want to tell you guys something about the city. There's a lot happening, but it's behind the scenes. Bring the right type. We have a lot of them coming after us. Culver's is taking, honeys, and we got others that want to come in.
Right.
We do have some property available. I think the people that's been holding.
Nope.
Okay, get it out of your mind, and I think now they're opening up. Tell you guys this, Buck Thornton, he wants to annex into the city, and we're gonna work with him. That there's been hotels, restaurants coming out.
Right.
So he wants to do that, we're gonna annex him into the city. Like apartments in
Who
the
is
back.
that?
It's Buck Thornton, Thornton Nursing.
On the east end of town,
Okay,
right by
yeah.
the
Yeah,
bridge?
the tree farm.
Yes.
I called him into town to move an oak, and he just said, I've been trying this for 15 years, and the city won't communicate. And I said, you haven't called me, so
That means extending,
we'll extend past the bridge.
and you got infrastructure too.
It's there.
Good.
Is it already there, Denny, or is it, okay, good.
You didn't realize that.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, it's there.
How far past the bridge are you going to extend? Just the end of
Well,
Thornton?
we're probably gonna talk to a few,
Just curious.
here's the funny thing, you know, we said.
Don't ask
we-
me.
We did a funny thing, we annexed all the way almost to, Evercane Refinery, all the way to the, county line. county was like, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
Now, I can tell you this, there's 1,800 acres, this farm, of U.S. Sugar.
Right, okay,
So that's,
I did hear
that's
that.
gonna be developed. That'll double this city.
Yeah,
That is in the works.
okay.
We've got a water line that's already budgeted, and we've got 4.5 million in that water line. That's done. There's a lot of little things going on. We just don't say a whole lot. Because it keeps people, it keeps the negative, it keeps the, they say,
Just because I don't understand, what do you have to go beneath that canal to get
we're
to
coming right out of
Thornton's?
our, oh, Thornton?
Yeah.
No, we'll go across it. The water line is already crossing there.
What about
Sewer
sewer?
crossing.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So there's different things at the CR because your city is predominantly, once I show you all the CRA areas that you all considered, there's parks you can redo. There's a lot you can do in CRA besides building. So that's why I really want you all, for your homework, is two things. Go look at other cities' CRAs so you can really understand what it is and the things that they have done. And then we need to come back and have a color palette that we really want to, and then see how we want to do these applications. That can be everybody's.
You know, you mentioned Delray earlier, and Delray is night and day difference about, you know, the way it was and the way it is now. I don't know if anybody's been there in a while, but I used to go down there when I was a little boy and everything, and now, I mean, you know, since they revitalized it, and Pompano Beach is another one that's coming up, it's gonna be like a big difference with it.
And Delray, they put the IMAX theater down in there. They have a whole movie theater in there. There's restaurants. So they have really done a lot with their CRA. They have the green market. So they're good. And what's the other one? Like I said, Dunedin.
Sebring's doing it.
Yes,
Are they?
Sebring's doing it
Downtown
now.
Sebring, look
Yeah.
at them, look at the city of Sebring, and you'll see. Similar to you.
And they bought Hometown in there, the television show, to kind of help them with some of theirs. So it's a lot that we can do. We just gotta, again, once we have these foundations, then we can build upon. So we just really need to
You can do
create.
parking lots. Somebody's got a bad parking lot, you can say, hey, we pay, you know, half.
Right.
So,
Do we have access to who Delray used though to help revitalize? Because I'm a big believer in professionally done. You know, I'm terrified of colors because, you know, colors are always like you think it's gonna be, and then you put it on the building and that's not the color you thought. You know, so that has to be a pro. You know, and same with like some of the architectural design elements and things like that. That's. Do we have access to who Delray used and who
Delray,
Sebring's using?
you always have access because we're a public entity, so you always can find out who they contracted out to do their work. But again, their website is very informational. Just go out and look at their website.
But that's what we'll be doing, like, as soon as we get our policies and procedures in line, like our paper, our application, and how, the process in which we communicate how we want things, then we have the.
So once we set the guidelines of what you can do and how you have to do it, I can get Joe Smith contracting, but he has to follow that guideline for us to help. And so we gotta see your drawings, we gotta see all that when you put your application in. So it's not like we just gonna give you this $5,000 because you said this is what you're gonna do. We gotta, if we're setting these rules in place and these guidelines in place, when they bring their application, then we need to see what you're doing, that it matches what we have done. And so even when we create the color palette, are you using the color palette? Do we agree? And as a board, you review all this, and you may say, well, Lakeisha, they got this, mute purple that we didn't agree on. So that's why I'm saying this month, before we meet next month, we need to look at these 5 things that and make sure that we kind of have these foundations. again, you can't talk to each other because it's sunshine. Even if I send an email out, just respond back to me. Because you all are a group now, and that's why I say it's sunshine violation if you all talk out of this, because you're gonna be voting on things that you gotta bring to the board.
And are you gonna talk about the sunshine?
I can talk
Okay.
about it.
Awesome.
You have, yeah. So right now, I'll give you the hit it and quit it version.
Okay.
The hit it and quit it version.
One thing that we can think about if, when we're looking at a color palette, is if we want to do a certain, stick to like a theme. Like, what is Clewiston to us? What is our big draw? Fishing town, do we want to stick with fishing blues and whites and
Earth
Sports
tone.
is
grays? Yeah,
Sports, because we're all about recreation and outdoor, and fishing ties into that. So it's
Right.
kind of like a fresh, sporty.
so you want to
modern-
kind of like a theme, work with a theme and keep it like a theme, like it's
Yeah, so when you
drawing
think
in
of,
fishing tournaments, it's drawing in sports, it's drawing in.
so what do you think about when you think, what colors do you think about when you think about fishing, sports, and
Vibrant,
outdoors?
but
You
not
think about
silly.
blues,
Blue.
you think about
Blues.
greens,
Blues and
you think
greens.
about,
Anchor
Soft
gray.
yellows.
yes,
stuff like that.
you
Yeah.
do. So that's your, now you coming up with your palette. Because that's what you want. Blues, I'm just gonna put you in on something. We're going live with our new website on Monday.
Okay.
And when you all see it, you're gonna be like, the Keach. Because
You did it, huh?
yeah, I was like, hey,
It's exciting.
I want you to be able to see it. So that's how you have to think about. I told you I was very visual, and so colors draw my eyes, and I see. When you talk about things, I see colors. So when you start saying fishing or fishing, I'm thinking blues, I'm thinking greens, I'm thinking a little reddish, because you think about fish, the
All
different
the
colors they
vibrant,
have.
Natural colors.
Yeah, you think about their habitat in which they live in. When you think about sports, again, clay, green grass, bleachers, woods. That's
Try to make a picture file.
Yes.
okay. So you think that's how I
Picture file of
Yeah.
all the things that are in Clewiston that are native to Clewiston, and just put it all together and,
And
then
but-
let the palette present itself.
and let the palette present itself.
Okay.
I'll help you with that. And,
With the Sugar Festival one
yeah,
was,
you tell them what you want and the color.
Yeah, that's where the guidelines come in.
Mm-hmm.
Where you
Yeah.
bring the guidelines for us, and then you hire the idea guys to
Yep.
bring it into life. It's not that you have to create something, but you have to have those guidelines that they have to go by.
And that's why we were saying if we can have that, then we utilize our other board member who has that talent, who has that material. Hey, this is what we were thinking about. These are our guidelines. These are the colors, that we were thinking about, because we wanted to reflect where we are, and it's nature, and it's wildlife, and it's water, and it's family. So take those colors and show us how you create a palette.
Fish, the birds, the crops, everything that's right here in our region. Okay.
And that will, yeah, and it develops a color palette for you.
There's some of the other things you could, like, red light boxes. The sugars, red light box. You could- Pedro, no, but, that's something too. You can.
Oh, absolutely. I've been seeing those a lot everywhere I go.
You can
The
go
cities
maps,
are
floor
really
plans.
going on fire
Yeah.
with their flora and fauna, whatever's in their surrounding, they put on their utility box. And it's really cool because we have a unique setting right here on our position of the lake. There's so many birds. There's so many. So it's the same thing. Let the collect the imagery and let it
And let it speak
present
to you.
itself. Yeah.
You'll be amazed.
Now, are we gonna have any involvement with, like, if somebody wants to come to Clewiston, and build something or redevelop something, are we gonna have any involvement with maybe relieving some red tape in areas or something like that, just to make it so hard for someone to come in and, depending on what it is, of course.
Yeah, we do that as in the tech.
Okay, so that's a totally separate,
Yeah, that's
okay,
different. Your funding in the
Okay.
CRA, like if, guy's doing a $25,000 project, you may.
so basically, the only involvement we would have in something like that is the guidelines as far as what colors they could do and how everything's gonna look, per se, okay.
Yeah, you set those guidelines, and if they want to build in the CRA area, they have to meet the qualifications that we have set for it. Because you're literally asking us for help. And so what we're saying is, we don't mind helping you, but to get our help, this is what it has to look like sitting in this district. in the
Visually. Okay.
And not even, and what, sometimes it's like, what do you want? Do you want, I'm trying to think, West Palm Beach, because I used to work there. West Palm Beach had what they call Northwood, and that was a CRA. And Northwood was just old buildings, almost like, but what they said, we're gonna have these many restaurants, and we're gonna have so it was like a bakery, and he had his colors, but it was like a lime, kind of like lime green. But then I'm not gonna say thrift shop, but this lady sold old designer clothes and all that type out of it. But her theme had to kind of almost match his. So the color palette down there was together, but they were totally different. But they matched. So
Complemented.
you can figure out what type of business you even want on your certain kind of roads.
We were talking about Palm Beach, Northwood, for example, up there. Did they concentrate like on one area? You know, like for instance, ours is Bond Street, and where Dr. Carroll said on 27 by the ice place, you know, back to the.
Yeah, the area, it was called Northwood, and then they even built
On Dixie Highway,
Yeah, it's between Dixie, where the Good Samaritan
right?
Hospital. If you go north on Dixie, it's called Northwest. And they had a restaurant it's a burger restaurant that sits like right on the corner. But you know, they built apartments, and then they also took old apartment buildings and artists.
Yes.
The artists that live there, their rent's like $500, but they literally painted the whole entire building. So everybody that's artists live in this apartment complex.
So they did concentrate on one area then, you know, for instance, or like 4 blocks for, you know, to go up through, Dixie
In bigger
Highway?
cities, when your CRA could be in different places, but they did take the Northwood area and focused on that.
Okay.
Here's something that'll help you too. We're doing this Ventura project. And then they're gonna landscape, sidewalks, and repave. We're also gonna look at doing these streets here at the top. We don't want these older streets. We're gonna put Bond Street in.
Right, right.
It's gonna tie into this, and this is kind of what we want, is to
Yes.
convert this area.
I agree.
You know, one of the things, now this is just out there, don't take it and run with it, Danny Williams. This building, and that building over there, and this building, we thought about tearing it down. Buy this and make it like a
Right.
businesses.
Yes.
Law that's out there. Again, right now, what we wanna do is update these side streets that's tying into Ventura, and that's gonna be.
Good.
It's a nice laid out, it's gonna give the small little restaurants over here, outdoor.
Absolutely.
So those things are going on, and when you see that, then it'll open up to you guys about what, you know, let's update Bond Street again. And I'm kinda with him, let's update the old Nickel building.
Right.
You know, 'cause that is kinda downtown of your city, really.
Yep, I
You know,
agree.
it's kind of a, you know, they bring the train, you know, Sugar Express brings those people, and this is where they're gonna walk.
Right.
And, you know, we were doing the Christmas park. And Brandon kind of runs that, and I saw people going to Clewiston Inn. I'm going, what the? Oh, Brandon said, Brandon, are you? I said, man, that's the worst. You know, but that's an eyesore to me, and we gotta tackle that, and we're working on that.
Good, good.
We're working on
I would love to Wednesday see this from what, Central all the way over to where First Bank is, see it all, a big
Yep.
walking district,
Yep.
just
Yep.
walking and
that.
shopping.
Yeah, I
It's small
agree
enough
100%.
that we could handle
That's
it.
a good area to tackle.
Where, Danny, when you said it will open up some parking spots to help Bond Street, where do you say the parking spots will be?
I'm tearing down Travis's building.
Okay.
That's happening.
So right in that area, right where the
Yeah,
utility?
that'll gain some
like-
parking.
Okay,
You know, we have this, I'm gonna redo this parking. Walking distance, and if we do what we do here,
Right.
yeah,
under the thought.
yeah, cause I thought he explained it as, there will be 50 extra parking spots
Yeah.
when the project is done,
And
so.
look, the Badcock guy, I am talking to that owner, willing to do anything. He said, look, I'm a tire guy, but I'd really like to do something with this. Now's the unique time of maybe saying, hey, let's just put 3 or 4 stores in here, you know. And I've got a guy at Fort Myers, who's a retail guy, and he's clothing stores here. He's the guy that's moving Goodwill to Big Lots, and then he's got a store that's gonna go, because he asked me, what would you want? And I said, a clothing store or something. He said, I've got that contact. Something else he's gonna do that we're looking at, and this, I'll tell you this, he's looking on the outskirts of town. There's property there that we're probably gonna annex also. And we're looking to build a huge gas station. Okay? Those are little things that's happening, but again, for you guys, this area here, I think would be pretty. Something.
No problem. Me long meetings. I try to keep these like an hour. I'm telling you, we're hey, hit it and quit it.
Danny, we need your input though, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
great that you brought that up. Very, very good.
I'll participate.
Yeah.
I'll be sure.
Yeah, but we want you all, this is really, you're the advisory board. You were picked for a reason. So we want your ideas, we want your suggestions, but we want them, I do believe when we have an agenda and we stick to it and we have a plan and everybody do their homework and stays on board, it's going to help us in the long run. I do not want this to fall. I want us in 6 months, we can show the board, hey, we've been rocking. And so the next time we meet, because I'm a calendar chick, we in March. So the next time we meet, if we do the second Tuesday, it would be April 9th.
Second Wednesday.
At 3:00. We said we're gonna meet on the second Wednesday of each month. So that'd be April 9th.
I do know another eyesore I want to work on is the corner of Francisco.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. So what I would like, if we can have homework for the 9th, literally is look over the facade and see what needs to be changed. Go to those, I'm gonna send you all links. That's what I'll go back. I'm gonna send you links to some CRAs so that you all can kind of look at them and look at their applications so that we can really solidify. So we want a demolition application. We want a paint application. You all gotta say yeah, Lakeisha, no, Lakeisha.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sod.
Okay, paint, and then we want a facade. And do we want to help with people maybe inside, interior and exterior. Do we want to do that? Like if I bought the building and I'm like, oh God, I need new plumbing, and the plumber to get this building to your standard, do we want to help
Chris said yes.
inside? Oh,
I thought
Oh.
on the thing it said- I thought it
Hey,
said no
landscaping
interior.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, landscaping's a big thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Landscape,
So
landscape,
landscape,
yeah.
okay.
Landscape's what you want.
I think maybe we ought to see what people inside will do if we change the exterior. I think they can come up with some ideas.
Okay. So we want a demolition, we want a paint, a facade, a landscape. And is there another application we want?
The mural one.
The
or-
mural
the
one
mural.
might be,
Thank you.
might be something
We're
to
gonna
look
get a
at.
lot of murals, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the 5 applications that we're going to need to work on. Demolition, paint, facade, landscape, and murals. So we want the definition of what each one of these is.
Lake Placid would be a good, place to look for murals and stuff like that. They've got a lot of buildings that have stuff on the sides of them
And I'm telling you, another one, City of Lake Wales, they did a mural, and they just did their downtown, through their CRA.
What's your email?
My email is LAKISHA dot BURCH,
D,
B as in boy, U as in
URCH.
unicorn, at Clewiston FL.gov.
the guy that painted the mural on the building sent me some paste up looking things, and I wanted to send it to you if you
Okay.
can get it out to everybody.
Okay.
Just to see.
So before we leave, let me go over the sunshine law right quick. We have what we call the Government in Sunshine, and I will send you all the link. The book is about 600 pages, and it talks about boards, commissions, and advisory boards, what you can and what you cannot do. And one of the things that you cannot do as an advisory board is have a discussion with each other outside of a meeting that's recorded. First and foremost, the CRA is an independent district, so it's part of the town, but it's its own separate thing. So you have been elected to be the advisory board to the board. So with that being said, you all vote for things here. You make suggestions that you're going to take to the board in which they have to vote. So with that being said, you are a committee that has those rules through, and you can't talk to each other. I can email you all day. You can email me back. You just can't talk to each other. So you would see if I email all you all, send it back to me. Don't reply all. And I'll say, don't reply all. Send it back to me. Your communication can be with me. I am the person that filters out everything that's needed. I am the person that receives everything. So I know you all may have personal relationships, and of course, being that this town is small, you will, but you got to be careful because your people who you don't think will call and tell on you. And people go to jail for sunshine violations. If you don't believe me, look up Martin County.
Oh my gosh.
They come pull you off the dais. I've seen it. So we have to be very mindful. No one's saying you can't have friendships. You just can't talk about what you're going to do in the CRA. That's another reason why we wanted to make sure that you all didn't work together, because it's hard. I mean, it's hard. So you have to be very mindful of that. And so I will send you the link to the Government in the Sunshine Manual, so you can just kind of look at it. Again, your Form 1s, I will send you the link to that because you have to do it electronically. And they do ask your personal finances and your information. and it goes to the state. At one point in time, you could do the paper, but you have to do
Tell
everything.
me again, what we have to fill out now, the financial?
Yes, you can go to the Florida Department of Ethics, and it's a Form 1. So I have to create this group because we didn't have it. So I got to create it.
So you'll send that.
Yes, I will create the group. I have to put everybody's name in it, and then they're going to send you. And then once you do your Form 1s, you can go out there. You have a password. Please don't forget the password that you come up with, because it's hard to get back in there. But I'll send you all that information. I just want to make sure everybody is in compliant, and that we have that done. Do you all have any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Was that the gist of the Sunshine Law? Just don't
That-
talk to each other?
don't talk to each other.
Obvious things
That's
that,
the key.
because
That's the key.
I've never heard that. So.
That's the key.
But there's no other little thing that is obvious to you guys that
There's
might not be
600
obvious.
pages of it.
Oh, and
Because now I'm like, what else is?
And
'cause I
even-
wouldn't have
even-
thought of that.
and another thing, even about your Facebook pages.
Okay.
You are now sitting, so you have to be mindful of what you put out on social media. Because prime example, I tell the council
in
all the
trouble.
time.
I don't do that stuff. You gonna call me out like that,
Like,
man. I
don't
don't do
put
that.
what? Like,
So,
Jesus Christ.
okay, let's say we're talking about the color palette now.
Yeah.
And you write, oh, I want my color palette to be this, this, and this. And then Chris says, yeah, but I like this. And you all are straight discussing it. And then you come in here and you vote what you discussed.
right. That's talking.
That's
to
talking.
each
And
other.
then not,
Okay,
or
Gotcha.
Mr. Johnson will put, oh, I can't stand them ugly colors that they put in. And then you go in with your rant. And then Chris agrees
I'm
with
gonna be in
you,
jail by
and
the
then
end
you
of
all vote for something. So it's that.
Oh,
So
wow,
keep
okay.
that type of conversation.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, no keyboard warriors. So, again, also being that it talks about public records requests in the Sunshine Manual and who have access. All of this is public. We're live streaming now. And we're going to start live streaming because it just keeps the transparency
Right.
in the whole thing. But again, I will send you all that link. So you'll probably get a lot of emails from me tomorrow or Friday. But I'm going to make sure everybody's abreast on everything. So the homework assignment is look at those cities that I'm going to send you the link, kind of come up with some wording of how we want these applications to look. So on if you get them before, I might can put them together. And then by the 9th, we'll have them where we can really look at, oh, this is what the facade application look like. This is the demolition. And it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be 7 pages. It really could be 2 solid pages or special demolition.
Yeah.
And then after that, on the 9th, we need to discuss what's our limit. Because we think we have a lot of money, but we know $1 million plus don't go like it used to. And I just have a feeling everybody is going to want to get in on it. And you want to kind of try to help everybody. But we're going to put on the application, just because you put it in doesn't mean all of them is going to be accepted.
Not this year, but every
Yeah.
other year it could be somebody different, right? You have to skip a year or 2 years.
Well, we
before you-
hope that we still have a CRA.
That too.
So we're just trying to do everything in compliant. Your name will be out there as members. So you might have to fight off some people because they know that you're on here. Yeah, you will have people come. You can hold conversations like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yes, just can't hold them with each other.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
So anything else? I think so we're gonna homework.
I think that maybe some of the guys that are in construction can help with these prices, because we said this is a 2008 price tag, 5,000. That, I don't think that'll go very far. But they would know, the guys know, because they paint
So
things.
put it this way, Kristen, we're not trying to build 5,000. If you need some money, 5,000 works just today that it did in 2008.
Yeah, I think it's gonna depend on what you're needing.
what you need.
Yeah, like square foot of a building.
5,000
small
paint a
building.
building can go a long, long
You
ways.
think so still?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what criteria. I know people say construction is different, but when you have no money and you need help, 5,000 go. You like, thank you.
Go all the way around.
I'm sure,
Even a small building.
some people, if they can get a little bit of assistance, even if it's not gonna cover 100% of what they want, they'll take that little bit to help. And
Everything we're not trying, you have to realize we have a small pot that we're trying to spread over a lot of people.
Right.
It's not like we got a lot of money with a small pot. So we rather help 50 at 5 than 100 at 50. We're trying to just spread it all.
It's also matching, so, all of them will be matching, right, or some of
Not
them
all of
won't
them
be?
won't be matching.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, cause I saw that there 50, for the facade one, it says 50%.
And that's why it has to, do we still want that? Do we want to change?
I have no idea, only cause I don't know how much it costs, so, but, okay. All right.
You know Nikki and Mel's building was done, right? Through CRA.
I wonder how much I'll have to just ask them how much just the paint part. Like, because they have kind of it's not too big and it's not too small, it's kind of in the
But
middle.
look what it did, I mean, you.
Big difference. Imagine what we could do on Bond Street.
And we got an owner now that's willing to do something, so. Units for 50. Hey, give Bond Street something when people come. Besides the tire store and
WCO and
pawn
also,
shop.
there's so many shops on WCO that can be repainted, coordinated, because there's some nice businesses going inside.
Yep.
Have you seen that nail salon and that restaurant in that corner? That's kind of like, they're very elegant. If you go inside, you'll be like, this is inside this building. You would never know based on the outside, it's so simple.
That's WC Owens right here.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's many streets of small retail places that we can help. And of course, the whole corridor, starting on the east end.
But you know, with a big building like where they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, they are in with the coffee shop. You wouldn't want all of those different, would you?
Depends on what the
It depends on what the design team, you may want them different.
Really, they are.
They
So
usually
that
they
they're
are.
uniquely different, but they all complement each other.
Yeah, because if
Can't
I have a
imagine
cup,
what labor finders would come up with.
because if I have a cupcake business, my business, let's say your palettes was in the blues, and I said, okay, I want cupcake. Then I have to play in that cupcake. I may want a awning that has blue and white stripes. It's still, but then the place beside me selling something else, and they may want to play off the whites and something else, but we're still we're related. We may just not be siblings. We may be first cousins. You know, first cousins don't always look alike, and then sometimes they do.
Nobody look like brothers.
Yeah. So you can really play with it. You can play with it.
It can be done.
So my homework assignment is to give you all the Sunshine Manual.
Sleep for the next month.
You don't have to read the whole thing. I don't even read.
They got an audio version of that?
The Sunshine. You just read the important part of the Sunshine Manual. That's just like the Florida statutes. You don't have to know it all. You just got to know what part you're looking for. Links to other CRAs. It was something else I was supposed to give you all. Oh, I need to send you all the CRA plan ordinance in the original CRA ordinance.
What's the plan ordinance?
It was an ordinance that was created that showed you what the plan was for the CRA, because you have to have a plan.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
I'll show you that, and then I'll show you, give you the plan where it was created, and then the areas of what is considered CRA. So those are my 4 things to give to you all, and the members need to be responsible for reviewing apps or applications for demolition, paint, facade, landscaping, and if you come up with something like you create and you like, okay, this is what we want to look at. Once you give it to me, I'll look at it and I'll have it for us. So I tried. I'm a little late this time. You all apologize, but I usually try to give you an agenda of what we're going to talk about and what it's going to look like if it's behind packets and stuff. So my goal is to have that to you all no later than April 3rd.
Did we come up with some sort of ordinance for murals?
Board does that. I think we're okay.
April 9th is the next CRA meeting at 3 p.m., but I'm going to give them their agenda by April 3rd.
Yeah, Dr. Farrell, I think we're pretty good.
I just,
We had a lot of requests, and of course, when you guys.
I just would hate us to start putting murals and somebody come in with some spray cans and, no, and make it their own sign, like,
Oh.
There is an ordinance in
Yeah,
place
yeah.
already.
Yes.
There's
you have an
one-
ordinance for
What
it.
we have to advertise probably that it's there, cause that you're right, like young people or something, they might just assume, let's just do it. And, you know, so we should probably announce that if you're interested, look at the ordinance and look at the application and, are we, yeah, I guess I'll just wait to see what that ordinance and application looks like. I'll just wait. All my questions will be answered. Okay.
Does anyone have any more questions? Any concerns?
Yeah.
Just timing, like you said, we kinda have to work kinda fast.
Mhm.
So, that we can get a team of, like a team. We just have to have the forms done,
Yeah.
just the procedures done. That's all
Yeah,
have to
we
do.
gotta get
You
the
guys are gonna be
procedures.
busy, because I've had a
Yeah.
lot of people call me.
We're gonna be busy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're gonna be busy.
I believe once we get those forms, created and done and they're out, once they go to the board and get approval, we're going to be busy. You're gonna have to review them. We'll have to review them
Appreciate it.
and,
Thank you, Danny.
be like, hey, are we going forth or not? And then, they have to go through the board again.
Hopefully the decisions are obvious, hopefully.
But this board here is willing, to, meet if it's in the morning or something special instead of there once a month for the commission.
I'll get together real quick if they have to knock something out.
So we just gotta make sure that we're on, top of things. So to keep me in order, because I do have a lot going on, I'm very timely and kind of organizing. And when I don't, like this week, when I'm off time, it throws me off my psyche. So that's why tomorrow or Friday, you will get what I have to give to you, because I have to put that in the back of my head and move
on
to
to other
something
things.
else. But please make sure you take the budget. So we are good with the budget and kind of on your own time, look at what the corridor, because I know that was kind of really special, and see how and what they said about the 27 corridor, and see how we can kind of take what they said and what we feel and kind of merge it.
You know, with that original FDOT thing several years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, they talked about a bypass. Is that still in the works anywhere?
I do
You have
not
any
know,
idea?
sir. Like I said, that,
Probably no more.
yeah, that one is a few years old. So again, it may need some, it may be tweaking, or they may decide to do something else. You know how FDOT, have you ever worked with FDOT?
Yes,
Yeah, but
working
that-
with them
the only
now.
thing that concerned me,
Then you know.
the only thing that concerned me back then was they said if we ever detoured traffic trucks around, it took 25 years to accomplish. I thought, geez, means we're gonna have, what do we have, 25 or 30,000 every day?
Yeah, we have we
Is that what
did,
the count is now?
uh-huh.
Wow.
The study on Friday, on the weekends, I think you all was up to like 40.
Yeah, 40,000 is what they said.
Absolutely.
They said that on the
Feels kinda
last
low.
meeting.
Yeah, on Friday especially.
Hey,
Thursdays and
If you're
Fridays.
standing in front of L and J or somewhere close to the road, you can't hear people talk.
So,
Stay
you
off
all are,
47.
you
Get
have a
5
lot
or
of
6
people come
trucks.
through here.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of people come through here.
A lot of people blowing red lights too, mainly semis and dump trucks.
That's in the work
Can't
as
pull out
well.
on a red, on a green light, or you'll get hit.
Oh yeah, you gotta wait 3
That's
Oh,
times.
okay.
yeah, you better wait.
We're just gonna make it so beautiful they go slow.
You go.
So
right.
again,
That's the
I
idea.
thank you all so much, for volunteering and willing to be on this. So April 9th, I
see you
call this
then.
meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.